This is a tutorial on how to TAS Donkey Kong 64. In this, I'll be going through some of the basic steps into getting into TASing in terms of what you'll need and stuff like that. And also a few tricks which you'll learn or which you might need that are pretty basic for optimization and in terms of how to pull off certain tricks and stuff like that. So, first of all, what you'll need is an emulator. For the DK64 community, we use BizHawk. That's because it is the most accurate and allows us to run a script program called ScriptHawk. I use 1.12.1. That's partially because of laziness and also because versions past 2.0 are missing one or two features or one or two things. So past 2.0, you're missing the Dynarec core type and you're missing the Jarbo's video plugin. Now the reason why I don't have it is specifically because of Dynarec, but Jarbo's is really good for if you have a bad PC which is struggling to run BizHawk. If you're struggling to run BizHawk, get a pre 2.0 version, use Jarbo's. It doesn't render some things properly, specifically stuff like warp pads, and if you have a GB which does not belong to a certain Kong, then it won't render the transparency correctly, but it also just runs DK64, you know. So once you've got that, you'll have to install the prerequisites as well. You'll get this little folder over here. This is full of a few folders and files. A lot of these are just my own from like various testing, but you'll want to find a file called EmuHawk right here. Double click that and you'll get this window over here. Something else which you'll need is a DK64 ROM. Now, I can't link you that because of legality reasons, but if you want to go find that, find it yourself. So, yeah. But once you found it, you want to go via OpenROM and just find it in your files. But because I do it a lot, it's in my recent ROMs, so there. And now you'll get this. You'll be running DK64. In terms of settings, let's go to N64 on plugins. I have Dynarec because it's just what I use. RSP, HLE. The one that I use here is Glide N64. That's just so I can get correctly rendered stuff, and it just works best for me. If you are having real problems with running it, as I said, use Jarbo. It really does not render some stuff correctly, but it works, and you can TAS if you want. Like the first few TASes that I did were on Jarbo's, well, TAS kind of stuff. Video resolution. You might want to bump this down. The higher it is, the more taxing it is on your PC. I can run it at 800 by 600 and it looks kind of fine. So, yeah, that's up to you. So, once you get it started, you'll go through like the default stuff. Something which I would advise doing, if you go into sound, there's a little checkbox here which says mute frame advance. If you uncheck that, that means that when you are using the frame advance tool, which is to essentially advance frame by frame, which you'll need a lot, you'll be able to hear the audio. So I would advise unchecking that as well. So I'm going to just go to a random save state. Okay. Let's go to this one because it's just fun. I don't know. So once you've got yourself in a position like this where you want to start your TAS, what you want to do is you want to go to File, you want to go to Movie, and then you'll want to go to Record Movie, and then you'll get this window over here. So let's say, okay, let's call this My First TAS. Your author, you'll just fill it in yourself, and then record from. So if you want it from power on with a clean cart rule set, you'll select power on. So if you were doing I don't know, an any percent task, for example, you just do it from power on, and you'll just get a clean cart rule set, and it'll be as normal. If you want it from a certain save state point, so from right now, then you'll click now, and that will save all your file features and stuff like that. So if you're doing, I don't know, a glitch exhibition of something, if you found a trick, you can go from now, and then you'll just find it. You'll be able to record from that point. Save RAM is like power on, but you don't use the clean cart rule set. So I don't know, if you've unlocked the 20 fairy menu and you want to use that for your tasks, but you want to start from power on, you use save RAM. That starts from power on, but that also doesn't clear stuff like mystery menu features and stuff like that. So we're just going to start from now because, so you're starting this task right now, but, I don't want this to be real time. So I want to pause it. For that, you just press F, and it pauses the game for you, and here you are. So what I want to do is create a save state here. To create save states, just press your shift key and F1 through 10. So I'll just do F1. That saved my save state as save state 1. So next thing you want to do is, okay, so let's say I want to move to the tag barrel and collect the rainbow coin that was found last year. So can do it either via controller. I don't even have it, but let's say I was to shockwave over here, then I'd do the shockwave and then do it like that, and then hey, I've just finished my task, woo woo woo. You do you can save state from there, or if you're done with that, then you can go to movie, save movie, and then stop movie, and then you go, okay, I want to watch that task back. So you go to movie, recent, and then you want to go to my first task, if I can actually select it. And there you are. We've got the 400 odd frames of waiting because I was waiting around for a while. And then after a little while, Tiny starts moving. Here's where I forget I don't have Ponytail Twirl. This is where I forget I don't have Shockwave. And then, just walking around. And then I enter the tag barrel. But here's something which you might want to do. You might think, well, I don't want that 400 frames of waiting, or I want to carry on my tasks from a later date. So I start it on one day and I go, yeah, I don't want to do it all on one day. I want to split it up. So let's say you have a task which you want to continue. You load up your tasks and then you go, okay, I want to start here, right? Don't ignore the watercolor. That's just emulator plugin stuff. So what you want to do is you want to click this read only button here, and then that sets the movie write mode to read and write. So then you want to save a state here and then reload that state, and hey, we're now writing directly to the task file whilst also saving everything beforehand. So this will overwrite everything after this point. So me going over the water, me trying to shockwave that dirt patch, and me entering the tag, that's all gone. Unless you've created the save state at that point, which you can just reload it with your new save states. But if you are going to redo tasks from before you've done certain things, just realize that, or just be prepared that you may lose it if you're a little bit sloppy. So we can go over a few tricks right now. So one thing which I will introduce you to is a program called ScriptHawk. So to access this, you go Lua console, and you'll get this little window right here. You want to go script, open script, and then you want to find your ScriptHawk directory. ScriptHawk, let me close that for a second. ScriptHawk can be downloaded from github.com/isotage/ScriptHawk. You get it from this page. Take into account that ScriptHawk does get updated quite a lot. So if you do want to be constantly update or keep up with the updates, you may want to get something which is called GitHub Desktop. I won't get into that too much, but yeah. But let's just say you just want a copy of ScriptHawk at some point. Just download it and then go to Script, open Script, and then find your ScriptHawk directory. And then you'll get this bit here, and you'll want to open scripthawk.lua, which is right here. And you'll get this handy little window. You'll get a small little message with some flag stuff. And also on your emulator, you'll get this little bit of a GUI on the left-hand side. There are a lot of... ScriptHawk tells you so many things. There are so many little things about it that you can learn. So from like a quick rundown, map, that tells you what map you're in. Let's say that like I go through this loading zone right here, which is the barn door loading zone. Then that'll take me to the rear of the mill, and then partway through the transition, this map will change to rear of the mill, and then the number in brackets is just the map number. Level, that just tells you what level you're in. Cutscene, if you're watching a cutscene, it'll just show what cutscene number, and then out of how many cutscenes in that directory / map. And then there's two type of cutscenes. We'll get onto that later. Exit, so each, like, there are several ways you can enter a map, and so there are 28 ways you can enter the fungi map, and so that tells you which exit you're coming from or which way you're entering. Player, that just tells you where the player stuff is located in memory. Mode, that tells you whether in your main menu mode, like adventure mode, Kong battle, all the various different game modes. File tells what file you're in. XYZ, that tells you your X coordinates. Floor, that tells you what your floor value is. So if you're out of bounds and you're wanting to lose height to y equals 50, and you're currently at a floor height of y equals 164, then you'll want to wait until that floor value dips to 50, so you go over something which is floor height 50. dy, that's in between frames, that's how much you've like changed in height. So like if you've gone up 3 units in one frame, then that'll be dy equals 3. dxz, that's how much you've traveled horizontally. So if you've gone 4 units diagonally, then dxz will be 4. Velocity is kind of similar to dxz, but it's more of a constant. dxz varies with lag, velocity doesn't. Y velocity is the same kind of thing, same with y acceleration. Or y acceleration is just like, yeah. Yeah, and the rest of the stuff, your facing angle you might need. If you're doing skew, your rotational Z is important. Movement is very important for some stuff like moonkicks and also stuff like phasewalking. So movement is very important. Like, you want to keep an eye on that. No clip, if you're doing orangutan TBS no clip, you might want that. Bone ray stuff, that's only useful for telewebs. And if I was to extend this a little bit more, because you can just see that it ends at bone array 2. But outside of that, there's a lot more stuff that ScriptHawk can tell you than just that. There's more stuff I'll go into. For instance, you've got object analysis tools if you really want to go into that. But that is up to you. So let's say that, okay, I want to go get DK and I want to perform a moonkick on one of these mushrooms. So let me just do what I did before. Cross this moat. You'll note that like the game's running a little bit slower in real time because we've got ScriptHawk open, and that's fine. That's just how it is. The game will still run at like full speed and like it won't affect your TAS. It's just that when you're TASing, like the emulation will be a little slower, that's all. So let's say I want to perform a moonkick. Now moonkicks are very important, as you may know. Maybe you're wanting to perform Blastomatic kick, maybe you're wanting to perform, I don't know, a moonkick to enter chunky phase from arcade area. I don't know. Whatever you're doing, like, moonkicks are important. So how do you do a moonkick? Moonkick's a slight bit of experimentation. So I'll also introduce you something right now called the virtual pad. That's going tools and then virtual pads. I have 2 controllers plugged in. You can change that with controller settings. Because I'm in a TAS, you can't change that mid-TAS. But if you're in, if you're not in a TAS, you can just affect how many controllers are plugged in. You'll have to reboot the core, which is just done via controller. But let's say I'm wanting to perform a moonkick. So from this point, you'll want to do a jump. So you'll press this, which pushes the A button, and then you'll want to go down. So you'll shove this down. Now you want to advance frame by frame. It's a very simple way to do that. Just press F. So you notice that the frame counter at the top left of BizHawk has gone up by 1, and you just do this a couple of times, and you notice that DK is starting to jump. And even before then, you'll notice that his movement has changed to jumping. He's started to move in the DXZ direction, and then you're noticing that a few frames later his Y is starting to change as well. So you can notice these things before they actually visually appear on screen, and this is why RAM watching tools like this are really useful, because they can tell you things before you see them, and they can tell you a lot of things that you can't see. So you want to perform a moonkick, so you go forward for a little bit whilst holding jump, and then ideally you want the lowest jump possible, because that it's less airtime. So let's say at this point I've decided, okay, this is the lowest height I can get it. Ideally you want it so that the time you hold back is the first frame where, when you're holding back, you will not land on the thing you're trying to moonkick off. So in this case, the mushroom. In the case of Helm Lobby Kick, it's the ledge. It's that kind of stuff. So I've gone, okay, this is the first frame. You'll also want to log the floor height right here. So the floor height is 451 when I'm on the mushroom. So what you'll want to do is the closest that it gets to that Y height before it dips below it is when you'll want to start pressing B. So it went to 454, I think it was. Yeah. So once it gets to that point, press B, and that's because a frame later it will dip below that floor value, and then you'll be getting your aerial attack on the way up as close to the ledge as possible. So you'll see right here, and you'll see the thing with a moonkick is your Y value and your floor value, in order to get a mookick, have to be exactly the same. So you can see that my Y value here is 354, and then my floor value is 348. That will not get a mookick because you're 6 units off the floor. So what you want to do in this case, because there was no frame where the Y value and the floor value were the same, you'll just want to press B like one visual frame later. So in this case it would be when it's 349, so you press B. At this point, just watch the Y value and watch the floor value. So press F, and you can see right here that they're the exact same. Now note that you'll only want to press B to aerial for one frame. It works So like the B will register as performing an aerial attack, but you don't want to hold B. Otherwise, when you get to the frame where your Y value and your floor value are the same, you'll have issues because you're already pressing B, so a B input won't perform a kick, it will just carry on your held B, you know? So from this point, you can press B again. I'm going to put a save state here, so you can press B again, and you're performing a Moonkick, as so. Note, Moonkicks have to have enough velocity, so if you're getting a slap, you'll want to hold A for longer, go outwards, or go down more, and then when you get slightly further out, then hold up, and use the same trick as I did before in terms of making sure that you're just barely not reaching the platform you're trying to reach when holding up, so that you get an early Moonkick. Let's say instead of wanting to go to Diddy's barn area, you're wanting to go over the rainbow coin, for example. You can do that without even turning. You just have to make sure that the frame in which you're performing the kick, you're also holding the direction you're wanting to go. So if I wanted to go that direction, I can go this way. If you want to go that direction, you can go this way. If you want to go that direction, you get the point, you go that way. So let's say, okay, I'm wanting to go this way, and yeah, so actually let's go this way, because the next thing which I'm going to teach you is how to phase walk, and this is how to phase walk efficiently and quickly. So there's also going to be like a small bit of like trickery here. So actually what I'll do first is ensure that I don't slap or splat. So, okay, let's say I'm starting from 0. Like, I'm starting at a still speed. How do I get the fastest speed you can? Now, there's a very simple trick you can do with this. And it's called instant acceleration. So, let me get to actual 0. And let's say I want to go towards Diddy's barn. One thing you can do is hold the opposite direction to where you want to go for one frame, and you notice that DK's velocity goes to 12, and then on the next frame go the direction you want to go, and you're immediately near 140 speed, which is the speed of walking. Whereas in comparison, if you were to just walk there 1, 2, you're only going at 24 velocity. You can see how that's like supremely faster. So let me show that in real time. So you can see he's kind of going a bit slow. He's taking a little bit of time to get to 140 speed. But if you want to go there really quickly, back for 1 frame, then forward for 1 frame, and you can see that he's instantly accelerating to that maximum speed. So we're going to be using this to our advantage to get an efficient phase walk. So let's say you want to go and phase walk through this wall right here. Let me pull the camera behind me. So phase walking, you want to pay attention to your facing angle right here. It needs to be between 0 and 180 degrees, and more often than not, you're wanting 90 between 180 degrees, because it just seems more... It seems like it works most of the time only between those two directions, but from the pure mathematical side, it's like it works between 0 and 180, but try to make it above 90. So I'm going to be looking in this direction, and you want to enter first person, and then you can time it so that you are, well, I got it first try, but like you press C up, and then you notice that he's in the idle animation, which means that you're out of first person, and you are also noticing that your facing angle is blue. It being blue means that you have an overflown angle, which means that you can phase walk efficiently. So what you want to do is you want to do the phase walk inputs. So back, then neutral for 1 frame, then forward for 1 frame. Now, instead of going neutral Z, which is what you would do for RTA, because neutral Z, you lose a lot of speed. Like, look, 97, 92, like, you're losing quite a bit of speed there, like, to the crouching animation. And sure, you can go with it with just a crouch and an uncrouch, but you want to go fast, you know, this is a TAS. So, neutral for 1 frame, forward for 1 frame, neutral for 1 frame, forward for 1 frame, neutral for 1 frame, forward for 1 frame. And you can see that, like, for the most part, except for, like, the very first frame, we're staying above 130 velocity. So, then we can press neutral, and then, hey, we're through the wall, you know? We can walk, and hey, we're through the wall. It's that kind of stuff. You can even do it so that you can have let's say forward for 1 frame. Neutral and Z for, like, the frame. Like, you want to make sure that, like, you're doing this so you're just clipping through the wall with your phasewalking ability. You don't want to be doing that neutral and forward for too long, otherwise you're losing speed to doing neutral. Like, so you want to press Z and then roll, and you'll be rolling through, and you'll still keep your phasewalk ability for, like, a couple extra frames, but you're also initiating a roll, and rolling, as you should know, is the fastest way of moving as DK. So that's a phase walk for you, the most efficient one. Some phase walks will take longer to execute depending on the thickness of the wall, or if you're in the beetle racing caves, phase walking in there takes forever because you've got ice physics to deal with. So conveniently, what this moves us onto is how to do faster rolls as DK. So if you do just a normal roll with DK, as you can see, like, he goes to 250 and then wait for a little bit. Oh wait, he goes right down to 240. Oh, that's normal, right? No, we can actually extend that. So he goes to 140 on 8182, frame 8182. We can extend this a little bit longer so that he slows down a little bit slower. So let's just go forward until he reaches 250 speed, which is the maximum speed of a roll. And then once you hit that maximum speed, just hit neutral. And then you can see that when it gets to 812, okay, the speed's only gone down to 230. Oh, it's only gone down to 210 on the next frame. And you can see that it's, like, slowing down a lot slower. And then what you want to do is when it gets to 150, the next frame, if we still keep holding neutral, will be 130 speed. And we don't want that because 130 speed is less than 140 speed. So at that point, you just hold up. And hey, you're at 140 speed and you're walking like normal. So the final trick, which I'm going to show you real quick, is TBS. So TBS, let me get on my controller because I hate walking with the visual pad when I'm showing off stuff. So TBS, you can do from any tag barrel as long as it's sufficiently low. Chunky has a higher skid jump, so if you can't do it from a tag barrel as DK, you might need Chunky. So I say we want to get a TBS on this tag barrel right here. So what you want to do is you want to go down a little bit, just far enough away from the tag barrel, and then you want to hold the opposite direction and that'll get you into the skidding animation. And then when, like, a frame after, one visual frame after you start to hold the opposite direction is when you skid. And then what you want to do is you want to hold A and ideally Z at the same time in the direction where it'll land you in a tag barrel. So you can see the DK's avoiding the tag barrel, and you can see we're entering the tag barrel right here because your movement is barrel and you're also gaining the no clip ability. What you want to check with this is that you want to be in a crouching state before you gain no clip, and you know if you've got no clip because no clip turns blue. So you want to be something which can help you get a tag barrel storage if you're crouching on the frame which you're entering no clip, is you can hold slightly less in the direction. So you can see that I'm holding slightly less, and then you can see I'm entering the tag barrel. Now the issue with this, if you're trying to be optimal, is that when I was holding full forward, I was gaining, I was crouching on frame 264 and getting no clip at the same time. Now, if it was ideal, what you'd want is you'd be crouching on frame 264, and then you'd be gaining no clip on frame 2966. But when we were doing before, it was taking a lot longer to enter the tag barrel and gain no clip. So you can see right here, it's taking us all the way. We're not even entering the tag barrel because we're going so slow, but you can see, that's the optimal situation right there, because we've just gained no clip and it's frame 2966. So go all the way to frame 264, and then in this case you just let go of Z to get that uncrouch one frame before you gain the no clip ability. Now, in some cases, you can see now that we're falling during this tag barrel thing. In some cases, I'm not quite sure why. There's probably someone who can tell me why in the future. But on some cases, your movement will then snap back to barrel, which will mean that you won't gain control in the tag barrel and not get tag barrel storage. In those cases, there is a very easy fix. So, yet again, hold Z, and then on frame 264, actually no, on the frame 2962, let go of A, and then on frame 2964, repress A, but let go of Z. And what this will give you is a fake long jump. And on every single case I've encountered where I've gotten the barrel snapback with the just regular uncrouch, doing this has given me tag barrel storage again. So I'm not 100% certain if this is a 100% fix if you get this, but it works. So you've got tag barrel storage, yada yada yada, and then yeah, you got tag barrel storage, but you want to do the thing in the 101% LOTAD or the NLE LOTAD or the max percent moveless LOTAD, where you gain visibility of like the area, and this is something which you'll need to do. You'll need to make some notes on this. So let's say that I want to press first person, I want to exit first person, and I want this visibility hack that you see in LOTADs. So what you want to do is, let's say you want to regain, let me get rid of that. You want to gain visibility on this frame right here. There is a button on the ScriptHawk menu called Toggle TB, and you can see that we get visibility. Now this is very important, and you must note this down, is the frame which you press TB must be locked in order for it not to desync. So we pressed it on frame 3065. So TB 3065. And then whenever you replay back your TAS, you'll have to toggle TB on that exact frame every single time in order for it not to desync afterwards. There can be cases where it won't desync, but ideally you'll want to note it down just in case. So we've pressed that, and let's say we now just want to go look around and stuff like that, grab this tree, because why not? There are a few other things if you're wanting to get into a science game and stuff like that. There are a few other things in ScriptHawk as well that you might want to note down. So, for instance, unlock moves gives you all the moves in the game, gives you every Kong, and stuff like that. It does not give you Armor Belt 1 and 2, and I believe it doesn't give you the fairy upgrade, or not the fairy upgrades, the candy upgrades, and it also does not give you additional melons, but it does give you stuff like Sniper Scope, Super Duper Simian Slam, Gorilla Grab, that kind of stuff, and does give you all the Kongs. Toggle TB, that's good for tag barrel storage if you want to view stuff. Pause cancel, what that does is that stores an additional pause cancel. So if you have, like, if you want to store a pause cancel for science stuff, but you don't want to go through the process of doing the normal method with Diddy in Vulture Race or in Owl Race or in Rabbit Race or whatever, you can use that, and that just gives you a pause cancel, which you can press start to activate at any point. Gain control sounds exactly what it does on a tin. Like if you're in a tag barrel, if you're in just something where you're locked in movement, you can press that. That gives you control of the Kong. Let's see. Precision, that like increases the ScriptHawk readout. So let's say this is at 3 right now, but I want it to 5 decimal places. Boom, right there. If I want it to only 1 decimal place, there you go, right there. 3 is a good spot because for the YM floor stuff, you're getting that the concise nature of not that many decimal places, but you're also getting enough accuracy to where you can tell pretty much 100% of the time if you've got a Moonkick. Let's see, detonate. If you have some oranges and you're testing a lag clip for some reason, that will detonate all the oranges on the screen or in the map. This right here, if you're wanting to go to a map, for example, if you're wanting to go to, I don't know, let me actually save this first. So, let's say you're wanting to go to Hideout Helm. You just find Hideout Helm on the list, which is right here. Click the Take Me There button and click Force Zipper. And give it a little bit of time. And you're in Hideout Helm, that kind of stuff. If you want infinite, so you don't you can just spam as many oranges as you want, just click this. And you can get all the oranges you want. And it just constantly gives you 20 oranges. Let's see, if you want no clip, you literally just tick the no clip box and there you go. If you don't want no clip, once you get no clip, you can jump in place to lose it if you need. Oh wrong Nana. That makes every Kong, every GB grabbable ball by every Kong. I believe that also applies to color bananas, and anything Kong specific becomes any Kong grabbable, but that's not really a thing you'll want to experiment with too much, because I don't know, it's not really needed. If you want to set a flag, let's say you're wanting to spawn K-Rule ship, which if you know DK64 well enough, you know that K-Rule ship only spawns when you have keys 8 and 3 turned in. you want to go down to this drop list, find key 3 turned, and click set, and that sets the flag. If you want to turn in key 8, you turn this one in. If you don't want to turn in key 7, or if you want key 7 not turned, you click clear. If you want to check whether a flag is set, you go and find, I don't know, rainbow cone first time text. FTT stands for first time text. You click this check button and it says in the Lua console, rainbow coin first time text is not set, which means that whenever you pick up a rainbow coin the next time, it will give you the first time text. That kind of stuff is really useful. It's useful, as I said, if you want to spawn cable ship for whatever reason. If you want to check if you have fake key or not, you can check it via that. So you can find key 8, check it. Key 8 is not set, so either I don't have it or I got a fake key last time I tried to pick it up. Invisify, this is good for testing TBS or stored position stuff. So Kong's invisible. You'll note that with the stored positions right here, that they're not moving at all. So that means that they're locked in position. Can pause right here near B locker. In terms of controller, if you have a controller, if you press your left trigger button, because I'm on the Xbox, you can elevate, and if you press your D-pad controls, you go zooming off in one direction. So I hold up, I go forward. If I press left, I go left. And your speed is dictated by the speed control here. So if I want to go at 250 speed, like I just press it, and I pressed it really quickly there, but you notice how I just went like propelling like right there, and I hit the void. And I think that's pretty much everything that you need. Oh, also if you're wanting to test I know DK64 without lag, you can do that. That fixes the lag to 1. So if you throw a bunch of oranges, like the Kong will not be boosted at all. But if you do, I know, you can see that he's moving a lot faster in the horizontal direction because you've fixed your lag to 9. It's that kind of stuff. So yeah, that should be enough for ScriptHawk. If you have any questions, feel free to either ask in the comment section down below, DM me on Discord. I can't remember my Discord thing, but it'll be in the description below. Or ask in the hashtag TAS channel in the DK64 Discord. So I hope that's been useful.